I saw some comments on Threads that was talking about Kennedy Ryan. And if you haven't heard, Kennedy Ryan is not her real name. She used a pen name for her writing, which is very common. That is not unusual in any word of the sense for authors to do that. And she has explicitly said that is a boundary so that, for her own privacy, for her and her family's privacy. And, as someone who is a big advocate on boundaries and how I am trying my best to encourage people to set and reinforce boundaries for themselves as a way of taking care of themselves, self-care, well-being, I was very proud to see her do that. I even told her my own self on Threads that this is great. Continue doing that. However, not everyone fully understands and respects boundaries, unfortunately, because apparently there were some fans who decided to do a whole investigation and try to figure out what her original name was, and not only found it, but decided to share it online. Now, the internet is very good at shaming people, and I've seen plenty of people shaming, and I'm not disagreeing with it. I don't condone it, but I understand where they're coming from. I do want to give my 2 cents, though. I will say this. If you are one of those people who shared that information, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. The first question I want you to ask yourself is why? Why did you feel compelled to do that? What was your reasoning? What did you form in your mind to say, this is a good choice of how to spend my free will and my time? And even though this author has distinctively shared why she doesn't share her common name, her actual name, you took it within your hands to still try to spread it, to share her real name. So I want you to ask yourself, what compelled you to do that? What made you want to do that? Find the root of where that came from, because adults don't just do stuff just to be doing stuff. Adults always do something for a reason. We do everything we do for a reason. So why did you feel that you needed to do that? If you cannot come up with an answer, if you tell me, well, I don't know, I just needed to know. Okay, that's not an actual answer. Because why do you feel like you need to know? Why do you feel like that is a priority in your life, that you need to take time and free will to figure this out? And not only figure it out, but make sure other people are informed when she has specifically said it is a boundary for her. You need to understand that why. And if you don't understand that why, I need you to find a therapist to help you figure out that why. Because there's a reason, there's a root there. I don't know what it is, and clearly you don't know what it is. So we need to figure it out so that you're not repeating this behavior again. Okay? Find a therapist. Figure out the why. Really examine this, because this is normal. I don't like labeling things as normal behavior, so I want to take that back. I want to say like this. You shouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Okay? You shouldn't feel like that's something that you needed to do and that you're purely comfortable with doing. So if that is the feelings that you are experiencing, you need to talk to a therapist. Okay? Please talk to a therapist. Now, in the meantime, let's just be respectful of people's boundaries. If they say they don't want to use a certain name, let's be respectful of that. I mean, this should be very, very common by now, considering how we are trying to be more intentional of respecting people's pronouns, respecting, the names they want to go by, things like that. So this is in that same bucket of respecting someone's request to only be referred to as his name, and that's it. So you don't go and use the original name and try to get other people to know what it is and to use it. No, she's told you that's a boundary. So we need to be respectful of it. Now, I will say this also comes from a belief that celebrities that share their art with us do not owe us their lives. I do believe sometimes people have a weird sense of entitlement. Now, I don't know if this is the actual situation because I never talked to anybody who actually participated in sharing Kendi Ryan's actual name. This is just me sharing my perspective in general. You know, artists who give time and effort in sharing their art with the world, whether it is a book that they write, whether it is acting, whether it is, music, any kind of art, I feel like they are gracing us with their talent that they could have kept to themselves. They don't owe us anything. And so they're doing a major contribution to society by sharing that gifting so that we can enjoy it. They don't owe us more than that. They don't owe us every detail of their life. They don't owe us how they like to live their life. Okay? Social media has made it a lot more comfortable for us to talk with celebrities, but that does not mean you know them. You are still a stranger. And Kendi is a stranger to you. You don't know her. You know stuff from her in interviews, what she has shared online, and you know her gift. That's it. You don't know anything else. So let's be respectful, okay? Let's be respectful of that. And let's not try to cross any boundaries that she sets with her fans because of any feelings of entitlement, of thinking that we're owed more than what she's giving. Because honestly, if we really got to that point where we felt that every artist owes us every detail about their life, we would have a lot less artists. Like if you told me right now, Rachel, I know that you're doing a whole series explaining boundaries of how to set and reinforce them on YouTube. So that means that I need to know everything about you in elementary school, middle school, high school. I need to know about all the mistakes you made in college. I need to know about a whole... Girl. Listen, I may share some stories voluntarily, but I do not owe anyone every detail of my life. People aren't entitled to know every detail of my life just because I decide to share my experience in helping people with boundaries. So let's be very careful that we are not operating from a feeling of entitlement. Let's be very careful of that. All right. So I just want anyone who participated in sharing Kendi Ryan's actual name and felt validated, I want you to really dig and explore the why behind that. Find a therapist to talk that through, because that should not be something you're comfortable with. And it tells me if you're comfortable in doing that with a stranger, then you might be comfortable doing that with people in your circle. And who knows what kind of effects that's having on your friendships and relationships. So this could be a symptom to a larger problem. Please go get help. Please go see a therapist so that you can work these issues out. Okay, I say that from love. I'm not here to shame you, but I just want to make sure you're aware that this is not something you should be comfortable in doing. So definitely get the help you need and take care of yourself and try to avoid doing things like this again, because Black women deserve to be respected, especially when they set boundaries. And I just have to say that out loud as a Black woman, especially since I've helped a lot of Black women when it came to boundaries. They deserve to set boundaries of how they would like to be treated and like to be respected, okay? Everyone does, but I'm just talking about Black women right now. They deserve that kind of respect. So have some empathy. Put yourself in her shoes. How would you feel if someone, a stranger at that, did that to you? You wouldn't like that. So let's not do that to anyone else, okay?